Steve Porino, who has been covering all this for us, had an opportunity to talk to the Americans. Here it is.
Vonn mentioned that she had hoped to march in tonight's Parade of Nations, but she's actually in Whistler with our Steve Porino. All yours, Steve.
There's so much attention being placed on you. Obviously a favorite going into the Super Combined and the downhill. And it's brought some, at least speculation from one of your competitors, Anya Persson, saying, we're not sure how injured Lindsey Vonn is. And so I guess in response to that, what do you say?
Steve Porino has had a chance to catch up with her.
Thanks, Tim. I have to wonder if any of that weather you've been talking about has anything to do with the rain dance that you've been doing the last several days. But you've picked up an extra 4 days of rest. I know you did some slalom training finally today. Is the pain behind you at this point?
Pain is definitely not behind me, but I feel like at this point I can ski with confidence, and that's all that I could hope for at this point.
Just talked to Bodie, and he told me I'm going with the tried and true. And the reason why the course has changed dramatically since training, it's much rougher, the turns are going to be more difficult. He said those skis, the 11s he calls them, are much better in those kind of conditions. And dare I say, as he described all this to me, very animated. Miller looked ready to go.
The best way to understand the difference between downhill and slalom is through the equipment. This downhill ski, beefy, stable at 70 miles an hour. This is the tool you want.
Hi everyone, I'm Steve Porino along with Chris Ernst, and today 2 names to talk about, and that is Casey Puckett and Stan Hare. Now a lot of discussion about this course, plenty of speed in there, but are there places to pass? What do you think?
But what's interesting is this new space age material inside the actual padding. Here's what it looks like, and it's very malleable to the touch when it's on the women's body, but the moment it strikes a gate, for example, the molecules align and it hardens and gives them some protection. John and Lori kept the news of the accident from Scott for 6 days. He was racing in Europe and about to face the toughest downhill course in the world. It was also the final day of the Olympic selection.
You know, they did that to, you know, make sure I didn't worry, and they were thinking about me, basically, in Kitzbühel and being able to be focused for that race.
And then he received the email from Mom.
My mom, you know, wrote to me that, you know, all the things she was thinking about, and you know, the things that were going through her head that she really had to control, and that she really kept her cool too, and that she didn't panic.
It was here in Sestriere that Scott finally saw his mother for the first time since the accident.
She's also just getting over breast cancer, so you know, if it's not one thing, it's another.
We are at the start of the women's Olympic downhill. Wildflower, but don't let that fool you. And I do mean we. You guys will be in the back seat. I'll take the steering wheel, buckle up, and let's get it on now. You gotta go hard after the starting gate. So what do you say to all the people that, you know, again, wear Bodie Miller's medals?
They're in other people's pockets, I guess. That's what I would say.
Now for the bad news. They got another 1 to 2 feet coming in tonight, and we just got word that they're going to cancel tomorrow's racing as well. But there's always a positive side to every story. Tim, did I mention how good the skiing is? Dillard, Georgia, and behind me, some of the best anglers in the Southeast getting ready to put their reputation on the line in the 2004 Fly Fishing Masters, brought to you by Ford. Hello everybody, I'm Steve Porino, and if you don't know our competition, it is the biggest, most comprehensive fly fishing contest in the U.S. And Steve Porino along with the Uber archer, Jeff Hopkins, thanks very much for joining us this evening. I know I've enjoyed hanging out with you, learning a little bit about archery. Now we're going to see how good a teacher you are, because you are up against the Uber Goober. What I remember is that we do have the draw length, right?
Yep, remember your anchor points.
Anchor points.
Anchor down here on your cheek.
Yeah.
Put your nose on the string, there's an anchor.
Push.
Pull, squeeze.
Where did it go?
You missed.
I did not hear that same thwack that I heard every time you shot.
One thing about arrows, they make them every day.
I'm not really fine in the zone. You got any last minute advice for me?
Yeah, aim at the ozone, it's a lot bigger, Steve.
Thanks.
Come on, you can do it.
Appreciate it. All right, push, pull, and... Yes! Finally! There is no confusing us. I'm Steve Porino. This is the 8-time world champion, Jeff Hopkins. You can catch him on Gore-Tex outdoor adventures right here on OLN. Thanks for joining us tonight on Fridays in the Wild. Thank you for joining us tonight, and I hope you picked up some elements of mastery from the master himself, Tim Rajeff. I know I have.
Steve, are you ready for the big finale?
Is this something I have a choice in?
No, it's no problem. I've done this a million times. What I've done is I've rigged up a little treble hook here that I straightened out. What I'm going to do is have you put that balloon in your mouth, and I'm going to pop the balloon right out of your mouth.
This is why you wear glasses when you go fishing.
Okay, let's see if I can do this. Let me see if I remember this. Get your hands out in front of your body, get it all lined up, get it the right distance, and...
I can still see it. If you stick around, you'll see Ford Fridays in the Wild, the last half hour, which includes Tim Rajeff in LL Bean's Guide to the Outdoors.